Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is Harkness Friday. This week's Harkness leader is Winston. Winston is going to be passing out your Harkness readings. As always, for our do now, you are completing the reading, you are annotating or underlining important parts of the text, and then you're writing a 4 to 5 line response. So that could include things like what you agree with, things you disagree with, questions you have, things you'd like to discuss. And so when I'm coming around for do now credit, the 4 to 5 line response is going to include what your interpretation was of the ideas presented, how you feel about the topic as a whole, any kind of discussion points you'd like to include. All right, let's get started.
I chose this topic because, and we see that in the public, we hear of a lot of killings that is happening now, and there's a lot of black people in the school, so I feel as though that they may have heard or wanted to talk about something that they seen, so that's why I chose this, and this gives y'all the opportunity.
Black Lives Matter protests usually act before actually realizing the whole case or waiting till the whole case is actually exposed to the public. So as soon as they hear, like, you know, a black man or a female has been killed by a white police officer, they just automatically just attack without actually going in depth with the case.
To kind of argue with Justin said, you have to understand that it's far too many people getting killed by white police officers.
That wasn't my opinion. That was
No, but I'm saying you're saying that the author is saying that, like, the protests are too early in the case, you know. But if it continues on happening, you're bound to get sick of it. You know, it's not right. So why would we wait for a case that we basically already know the outcome of what's going to happen? You know what I mean? Where we already know it's about to go down, so we should just act on it because it needs to stop.
This is kind of like what we learned in the Salisbury class about the colonists and how they basically was fighting the British and how they always get like outraged when the British was killing them, even though they did wrong too. It's like most people only care about our side because we the ones who really the victims. But sometimes police officers might be put in a bad position.
Yeah, AJ.
I believe like how they like some cops are trained and stuff, like how you see some cops get nervous and stuff, and so I believe like most cops it's because of the training. That's it.
Ms. Kimani.
It's not even like the training. It's like if they like raised on like being biased and stuff, they gonna keep that in their heart. Like, I don't like this person, so they gonna keep it forever, whether you train it out of them or not.
Alright, so it's like they basically, alright, so once it's like they already have what they want to do when it first comes to the force.
Unless they experience something that will like change their mindset, but 9 times out of 10 it might not.
It's not just the cops who have to like be trained into it. We gotta be trained to stop rushing so quick just to accuse them all the way there. Because it's really not bad cops. It's cops in the back.
So, how should the black community respond in a more appropriate way? Yes, Ms. Aziz.
I feel as though we need to get more organized. Like, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, it is a good movement. You know, I'm all for it. But the way that we're going about it is unorganized, which is why nothing's changing. You know, back in the day during the Civil Rights Movement, everything was organized, everything was planned. But nowadays we have a random rally, and then another one pops up like 2 weeks later. Like it's like a trend, you know. Like back in the day, everything was serious because they knew what they wanted. We don't know what we want.
I feel like before we react, I feel like we should research what actually happened before we start making protests, because while we're making the protests, we could just be spouting out more false rumors of what happened.
Xavier.
Going back to what they said about us having to know more about the case before protesting, I agree that we have to research it and know more about it. But in some cases, like police can tamper with the evidence, making the case like fall.
At least, I feel as though for us to, like, for everything to really be the way that we want it, we have to stop the violence in our own communities as well. Like, we can't be preaching about cops killing us when we got a gun in our hand and we're killing our own brothers and sisters, you know? Like, it makes it's dumb, like, quite frankly. So, in order for everything to actually, in order for us to be elevated to the next tier in, you know, society, I guess, we have to become peaceful with ourselves.
Anybody?
Just want to give a brief time check, so we have about 5 minutes left. As you know, I'm tracking the flow of the conversation, so I can see definitely which sections of the room have offered incredible insight. I'd like to set aside some time for those who have not spoken yet to get a chance to share your perspective. It can involve reading your do now response, or you could respond to something that a peer said that you found really interesting or made you think about the issue in a different way. Okay?
Yannick, I feel like, basically all these protesters, they're gonna keep putting Americans, like, they're gonna have them aware of it, but really nothing's gonna change unless the policies are changed. Like, no more suspensions, they gotta be fired, like, get some real cops in there.
First, I want to just thank you guys for a really thoughtful conversation. I like the way we brought together different points of view in a really positive way. Let's give it up for this week's Harkness.